Your attention, please.
Hello everyone. Recently I did a video blog on top 5 movies that I enjoyed that, as far as I could tell, most other people that seen them didn't enjoy them. Well, this time I'm going to do the top 5 movies that I have in my collection that I don't think, again based on conversations I've had with people, a lot of people have seen. Now the first two I think did get big theatrical releases, where the top 3 I don't think did. So you might have heard of at least the first 2 movies, but I don't think a lot of people have seen them. Whereas the last 3, I don't think a lot of people have even heard of these movies or are aware that they exist. I know I have met some people that have seen them, but most of the time when I ask people, have you seen this movie before? They have no idea what I'm talking about. So let's get on with the first movie on the list, number 5. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The one that was released, I don't know, sometime in the past decade. I'm not even sure the release date. I'm sure most people have at least heard of the book, but perhaps haven't seen the movie. And I enjoyed this one quite a bit. I thought it was very funny. I thought it had a good sense of British humor to it, and it was fun. It was a fun movie. It wasn't necessarily side-splitting, rolling over on the floor kind of laughing, but it's definitely fun and clever and witty. Kind of on the opposite end of the feeling the movie gives you, but also falls into that some people may have heard of it given the stars that are in the movie, but I haven't talked to a lot of people that have actually seen the movie, and that's The Book of Eli. Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman. I also thought this movie was really good. When I sat down to watch it for the first time, I wasn't exactly sure how much I was going to enjoy it. I wasn't 100% sure what it was about, other than it was taking place in a post-apocalyptic world. But given how much I enjoyed it, I was really surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. I like the feel of the movie. I like the characters in it, and the delivery of everyone in it was really great. Now moving into what I think is a little bit more of obscure titles, is number 3 on my list. And for those that have seen it, they usually agree with me that it is a really good movie. Cube. What's interesting about this is it all takes place basically in well, as far as actual sets go, for the most part it's really in one room. The movie, in the movie world, it takes place in many rooms that look identical. And it's, I guess you call it a psychological thriller, and given the set in question, it is really the psychology of the characters that have to drive home the film. It's not any elaborate set pieces or special effects or anything like that. It's all about what the characters are doing and what's going on in their heads. Dark City. When I started seeing the trailers for Inception, it reminded me a little bit of this movie, and I thought it was going to have a similar twist, even though it turned out to be something completely different. And there's another movie that I've seen called The Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon, which actually had some similar themes as Dark City as well. So this movie is a story about a man who wakes up during an event where there's these pale men in black coats, and they're moving around the city, adjusting people and changing buildings and changing what people are wearing and replacing them, and doing all sorts of crazy things to the city that they're living in, where they're all kind of paralyzed and frozen in a state, kind of catatonic, while this is going on, except for this one guy who's able to see what's happening and learns he's also able to change certain things in the cities, just like these men in the black trench coats. And he spends the movie figuring out what's going on and how can he stop these men in black. The number one movie on the list, which I really only know of two other people that have seen this movie, and one of them's my wife, and she's only seen it because she's seen me see it. So I'm not sure if that actually counts, but that movie is Alice by, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but Jan Svankmajer. And it's based off the Alice in Wonderland story, but told in a just bizarre world. I mean, I think Wonderland's supposed to be kind of a bizarre world, but this is just kind of creepy and just nuts. And it's a mix of live action and stop motion. Alice, the little girl, is of course filmed in live action, at least when she's of normal size and when she's big. And when she shrinks, it's a kind of a porcelain doll sort of look. And that's done in stop motion. And all the creatures that she meets along the way, regardless of what size she is, that's all filmed in stop motion as well. And it's a really interesting mix, and there's very, very little dialogue in it. So everything's kind of told through what these creatures and things are doing and Alice's reactions to them. And when I think about the weirdness of it, the first thing that always comes to mind is when Alice is in this, she locks herself in a room to get away from some of these creature things that are coming after her, and it's kind of like a pantry, I guess, and there's shelves all around, and there's glass jars on some of the shelves, and they have meat, and you see actual chunks of meat coming out, filmed in stop motion, crawling out of the jars, and like they don't have legs or eyes or anything. It's just a chunk of meat just going for a walk. Like it's weird, and it is an experience to see this movie.